Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond the Exam. We go beyond the CFA curriculum over the Mount Everest of finance. So, have you heard about the CFA exam? For those who have heard of it, or are actually sitting through the test right now, welcome. This series is intended for you. And for those who haven't, it is something that could kickstart your finance career. A three-level program where your ultimate goal is to pass a final exam at the end of each level. So you could get a nice charter. Sounds simple, right? But to take the test, we have to spend hours and hours reading thousands of pages of this curriculum, which is quite frustrating. When your friends are partying, making millions from the market, and you look like you haven't slept for weeks. As someone who had taken the test before, I know it will be very difficult for you to concentrate all the times. Quite often you'll find some way to procrastinate, like playing video games, watching TV series, or wasting your time on YouTube videos like this. So that's the reason why I decided to make this series. It is intended to be something not too serious, so people can actually enjoy a good story while learning something useful from the curriculum. I call it Beyond the Exam because it's not only about the CFA exam, but also it's me telling you real life stories about the topic of the curriculum and the practical application of this topic in an emerging country context. This came from my own experience working and investing in Vietnam. So you will see a lot of case studies about Vietnam and its neighboring countries because it is just what I know. So I hope that you can find something interesting in this series, even if you do not intend to sit the exam. Now, let's start with the first video of the series, the curious case of the swimming scallops. But first, a very big question. Do you know what is the most important thing when you're investing in an emerging country? And the answer is corporate governance. Let me tell you why. The amazing world of finance is actually simple. It is only running on one currency, and that currency is trust. The dollar in your pocket, that is the trust you put on your government, that it can pay you back, which is called fiat money. The money you deposit in your bank account, it is your trust to the financial well-being of that bank, as well as the whole banking system. So investing in its true nature is simply giving your money to someone else and hope that he will return it to you with an extra profit. Thus, the first question that you must always ask is, can you trust that guy over there? This is even more important when you are investing in emerging countries, where regulations and ethics are very questionable. Now, imagine that you are a farmer. Your piece of land is very fertile. You can grow whatever you like, and you still have a great crop. That's investing in an emerging country. As long as your company is doing decently, you should do very well. I don't say you can ignore everything else about finance, but generally I think all of those things have less meaning than a good corporate governance. Or should I say, choosing the right guys to put your money in. On the contrary, investing in the developed countries is like trying to grow plant in the desert. Only the strongest, most special kind of plant can grow, like cactus. Your company needs a competitive edge. They need to be the most efficient or the most innovative as they can. The environment here is simply difficult. Therefore, if you plan on investing in emerging stocks, be sure to spend a few minutes of your time researching about the company corporate governance to make sure it is someone that you can trust. When thinking of corporate governance, most people will immediately think of corporate fraud. These are well-known cases because people get caught and went to jail. For example, we have Enron from a long time ago, and more recently, we have examples like Wirecard or Luckin Coffee. However, bad corporate governance also comes in all kinds of forms. Some have already caused damages to the investor, some have not yet. Some are easier to notice, but some are hidden behind SPV or structured transactions. Some are actually serious violations of the law. Some are just ethical issues. This problem of bad corporate governance is even more serious in emerging countries. And what's more better than start with an example of bad corporate governance that is so ridiculous? Now, let me tell you a story of a company called Dalian Zhangzidao Fishery, a listed company from the land of China. Beginning as a humble communist cooperative in a seaside village in 1958, Dalian Zhangzidao Fisheries, currently known as the Zoneco Group, has grown significantly together with the growth of China itself to become a global powerhouse in fishery. Their specialty, scallop, kind of seafood. It is the largest scallop farmer in China, employing thousands of people with 2019 revenues of over 400 million US dollars. The irony here is that it has become the very thing that it swore to destroy, a corrupted corporation who manipulate their accounting numbers for the gains of the few. It was 2014. The sun was shining, the scallop was swimming. However, the company's stock price had not performed very well in recent years, and the managers were, of course, unhappy. They had been investing heavily in their business expansion in recent years. During their intense discussion on how to turn things around, they came up with an extraordinary idea. Let's make up an unknown natural disaster, a mysterious and sudden cold current that destroyed all of our scallop farm. The announcement of the disaster justified the write-off of their entire scallop inventory. So, as basic accounting goes, an inventory write-off comes directly as a minus in the income statement, and the bottom line is something most retail investors care about. The amounts were 150 million US dollars of unexpected loss, which is equivalent to 9 times the company profit of that year. The question is, why would they do that? Well, there must be something fishy with the inventory. The key things to remember here is that they have been investing heavily in the past years to expand the business. To a farming business, the expansion will be represented by the increase of its inventory. Inventory builds up when companies making expenses such as animal feeds, employing people, or purchasing equipment, etc. And then nature will do the rest, and these expand in time will turn into finished products. In this case, mature scallop ready for sale. These are what I consider healthy and legit expand of the business. But sometimes not all expand are legit. It is the unknown expand that the managers are trying to hide. These could be expenses that the managers spending on different purpose, or maybe the investment in prior years could be just made up. But we don't know because all of these were written off. Of course, as the market operates, the stock price dropped significantly. Can you see the blank areas in the price chart? That's when the stock was suspended for trading due to the announcement of that write-off. During this situation, the manager bravely and quietly issued new shares among themselves. So if you notice the sharp price after that, that is where the manager's sweet profit rolled in. Suddenly, the company's financial results show improvement again in the next quarters. It seemed like the Scallops returned from the dead. More interesting is when interviewed, the other scallop farmers in the exact same region did not report any abnormal natural disaster. In fact, they have never heard about anything like that for many years. It seemed like the sea god or whatever that is was only interested in hurting this particular company for some reasons. The investors were furious with that announcement and the situation after that. They demanded the company to show proof and the regulators to investigate the problem. But nothing was done. No one can verify the problem because the scallop beds lie in water that is 20 or 40 meters deep and cover huge areas. So the regulators gave up just like that. But you might say, okay, maybe after such blatant case of accounting mismanagement, the market will surely learn because the investors are rational and smart. People will completely avoid investing in this company, right? But no, somehow the company did the same trick again in 2018. This time they found a new way to explain the inventory write-off. Oh, we didn't know our scallops are very good swimmers. They just swam away. So just like that, share price drop and the cycle repeats. Also, the last time I checked, the scallops swam away again in 2019 and then again in 2020. And still, no one takes their time to invest this matter to this day. So why the investor still fell into their traps? The sharp stock price increase, backed by promised financial results in the following period after each write-off has blinded investors. They thought the bottom has already been reached and they were fooled yet again. But you might wonder what happened to the managers in this case. Actually, not much. The company was only fined for less than $100,000. So Dalian Zhangzidao has been the prime example of bad corporate governance in emerging countries. A lack of strong legal framework in emerging markets, a lack of ethics from the management, and a lack of investor tools to control the managers have made something like this happen without major consequences to the violators. So, you may ask how understanding corporate governance can help us in any way in real life. It is quite simple. Just invest in companies that maintain good corporate governance and just avoid the bad one. But how to know which is good and which is bad? That will be the topics for future videos. However, in this video, you must at least understand what is corporate governance. You must have a definition of this very important thing. Unfortunately, there is no absolute definition of corporate governance. It's just an abstract concept. With each country, even within each company, they define it very differently. Lucky for us, in the CFA curriculum, they give us a definition, which stated here, was a system of internal controls and procedures by which individual companies are managed. Blah blah blah. Too long? Let me try to make it simple to you. So, as we know, every stakeholder of a company is there for their own benefit. But some individuals in that relationship has higher power than the others, and they are the managers. So the first important point is the managers must be controlled by some means, because the company managers are high-ranking, high-salary individuals who have full knowledge of the company's situation and full power over the company resources, which is actually belong to the investor. So how can you control that he will not spending the company money on his own expenses, like finance a new private jet as an administrative expense? How can you prevent him from telling his close friends that he is about to recognize a large unexpected earning or loss, rather than publish the information to everyone? How can you prevent him from manipulating financial results to mask weak performance in order to keep his job? The answer lies in the second point. It is better that the benefits of the shareholders and the managers are well aligned. Uh, this could be a requirement for compensations to the managers to be linked with the company long-term performance. Or maybe the company can issue stock options with trading restriction to the managers. In that way, you align your benefit, the shadow benefit, with the manager reward. So I think that's all for today's videos on the curious case of the swimming scallops and bad corporate governance practice in emerging countries. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, please leave a like and subscribe. Maybe sharing it to your friends. Hope to see you in the next videos.